Ever seen a love story turn into a crime scene before dinner? Because that's exactly what just happened inside Kirk Frost and Rasheeda's home and SUES. This isn't just another VH1 subplot. This right here is a full-blown meltdown that exploded, way past reality TV and straight into real-life consequences. Rasheeda, the so-called boss chick, didn't just break a brand. She broke trust, broke character, and maybe even broke the law. It started like any other midweek night in the Frost household, quiet, structured, picture-perfect, on the outside at least. But behind the Instagram filters and boutique promotions, was a storm building for years. And what triggered it? A juice box. That's right. One little juice box, tossed by a toddler, blew up the entire Frost empire. And we're about to break it all down. Let's rewind before we unravel. Because Rasheeda didn't just wake up and decide to slap a child. That doesn't happen in a vacuum. There's a history here, a timeline of betrayal, public shame, and deep-rooted pain that no amount of press interviews or healing could bury. Let's not forget who Kirk Frost really is. Atlanta's most consistent cautionary tale. A man who's been cheating on Rasheeda since flip phones were a thing. This man turned side pieces into second homes. He's got hotel receipts longer than his music catalog. Late-night studio sessions, surprise babies, burner phones, you name it. He's done it, and every time he fumbled, Rasheeda stood there, smiling, forgiving, rebranding herself as loyal, unbothered, and in control. She made it her brand. She made him her brand. But no matter how strong your PR is, pain has a way of seeping through the seams. Canon, Kirk's love child with Jasmine, is a walking reminder of that betrayal. A 4-year-old boy caught in a web he never asked to be part of. A sweet, innocent kid who, unfortunately, became a trigger in a household built on shattered glass. From the moment Canon came into the picture, Rasheeda tried to play it cool. She branded herself the bigger person, posted blended family photos. Even posed with Jasmine at one point like the past was buried, but behind the scenes, that resentment never left. Canon wasn't just a child. He was a symbol, a scar with tiny shoes. That night, Kirk was doing what Kirk always does, scrolling through Jasmine's new story posts while Rasheeda tried to film a new product ad for her boutique. Canon, just being a kid, tossed his juice box and it landed all over Rasheeda's fresh hair and white couch. That was the last straw. She snapped, screamed, "I am not your mother. Don't test me." And then, loud and clear, a slap echoed through the entire house. And that's when Kirk re-entered the scene. He didn't ask questions, didn't look for context. He saw his wife standing over his crying son and lost it, not verbally, physically. Witnesses say he grabbed Rasheeda's wrist, shoved her down onto the couch, and started yelling so loud it set off a neighbor's car alarm. Canon was bawling, Rasheeda was shaking, and Kirk was red in the face, screaming something about respect, about boundaries, about protecting his child, which, let's be honest, is rich coming from him. Now here's where it goes from private to viral. A cousin of Kirk's was faced him during the altercation, didn't hang up, didn't say a word, just quietly recorded everything. And within an hour, that clip landed in Jasmine's inbox. The same Jasmine who's been waiting for a moment like this since Canon was born. She wasted no time. She clipped the video, cleaned up the audio, and passed it to a local gossip blogger with a reputation for mess. That blogger dropped it like a mixtape. Within minutes, it was everywhere. You could hear Rasheeda yelling, Canon crying, Kirk raging. You could see the slap. You could see Kirk shove Rasheeda. The footage looked like a scene from a bad Tyler Perry movie. The internet devoured it. Memes, hashtags, reactions, think pieces. Everyone had an opinion. Some were calling for Rasheeda's arrest. Others blamed Kirk for leaving a child in a house with unresolved trauma. Canon became the most famous kid in Atlanta overnight, and not in a good way. And let me tell you, Jasmine was loving every second of it. She immediately reached out to a family lawyer, filed an emergency petition for full custody. Not only did she want Canon permanently with her, she wanted a restraining order against Rasheeda. No more birthday parties. No more sleepovers. No more blended family appearances. She wanted the court to legally recognize Rasheeda as a threat. Meanwhile, Rasheeda tried to do damage control. She went live on Instagram, lit candles behind her, whispered apologies through tears, and begged her followers for grace. "I'm human," she said. "I snapped. I didn't mean to hurt him," but the comments didn't spare her. They called her fake, a fraud. One woman wrote, "You ain't a boss chick. You're just another broken woman hitting someone else's child. Sponsors noticed. Brands that worked with Rasheeda started pulling out. Pressed Boutique got flooded with 1-star reviews. Her PR team couldn't keep up. Her empire was shaking at the foundation. And Kirk. He was doing what Kirk always does, playing both sides. Telling Jasmine he was sorry, that Rasheeda went too far. Telling Rasheeda he had her back, that Jasmine was just using the situation to attack them. But nobody was buying it. Not the fans, not the producers. Not even Miss Charlene, Rasheeda's mama, who allegedly cussed Kirk out on speakerphone so loud the neighbors could hear Dotto and young Jock. Of course he had to jump in. This man hopped on IG Live and said, "At least my girl ain't slapping babies on camera," while Kendra sat beside him sipping tea. Fans dragged him to "Weren't you just cheating last season?" One comment said, "Sit this one out." The point is, this wasn't just a scandal, it was a full-blown implosion. Cops were called. Court dates were set. VH1 started pulling back on promo for the Frost family storyline. Word is, they're considering cutting their arc altogether. Too messy, too real, not marketable. Kirk packed Canon's things and dropped him off at Jasmine's condo without a word. "He's safer with you," he said. No fight. No protest, just defeat. It was the first time in years Kirk didn't try to control the narrative. Because maybe, deep down, even he knew, they crossed a line they can't uncross. And Rasheeda. She's still trying to fix her image. But you can't undo a slap. Not when it's been screen recorded. Not when it's on every blog. Not when it's already turned into a lawsuit. The Frost family isn't just in trouble. They're in free fall. What started with a juice box became a custody battle, a public fallout, and possibly even a criminal case. Jasmine's out for justice. Rasheeda's trying to save face. Kirk is stuck in the middle of a mess he created. And Canon, poor Canon, he's just a kid who wanted juice and got trauma. But this was just the beginning. The fallout didn't just hit hard, it came like a tidal wave, swallowing every corner of Kirk and Rasheeda's life before they could even catch their breath. That viral slap video wasn't just trending on the blogs. It was the front page, the main story, the topic in every group chat from Atlanta to LA. And as the dust barely began to settle, reality set in. This wasn't a love and hip-hop episode. This was real life. Real consequences. Real pain. Jasmine wasn't playing around. The moment she saw the internet light up with that leaked clip, she knew exactly what to do. She didn't cry. She didn't call Kirk. She didn't go live with a wig and filter to beg for sympathy. No, she called her lawyer. She walked into that office with her head high, Canon's birth certificate in one hand and a folder full of receipts in the other. The mission: take full custody and bury Rasheeda's public image in the same motion. She wanted everything. Full physical custody, full legal custody. A court-ordered restraining order keeping Rasheeda 50 feet away from Canon at all times. That meant no birthday parties, no family cookouts, no surprise TV reunions, no pop-up blended family photo shoots. She also demanded a raise in child support, citing the trauma her son endured and the emotional damage of being physically assaulted by the wife of the man who fathered him. And you better believe she had the receipts to back it all up. Meanwhile, Rasheeda was on her apology tour like her life depended on it. She did Instagram lives, teary TikToks, a sit-down interview on a local Atlanta radio show. The same line every time. "I'm human, I lost it. I didn't mean to hurt Canon. I was overwhelmed. Please don't judge me." But judgment came anyway. The same fans who once flooded her comments with fire emojis and #BossChick slogans were now dragging her, calling her a fraud, a bully, a woman who smiled for the cameras while hiding a heart full of resentment. Some of the biggest fan pages even started posting side-by-side clips or slap versus her past speeches about being a queen, not a fighter. Spoiler alert, the slap won every time. Behind the scenes, her business empire was starting to crumble. Pressed Atlanta, her pride and joy, got flooded with negative Google reviews, calling her a child abuser. Pressed Houston, same story. Brands she'd partnered with in the past suddenly ghosted her. One beauty company that had done a high-profile campaign with Rasheeda quietly removed all her promo codes from their website, just like that in VH1. They were shook. Sure, the network thrives on chaos, but there's a line of in for them. One producer's assistant leaked some serious tea to a fan page. They love cheating scandals. They love side chick drama. But a kid getting hit on camera, that's not marketable. Advertisers are pulling out. There's real legal risk, now. Word started spreading that they were considering cutting the Frost storyline mid-season, after a decade of surviving every cheating scandal and baby mama drama known to reality TV. It was a toddler's juice box that might finally cancel them. And in the middle of this storm was Kirk. The man has dodged accountability like it's his full-time job. But this time, he couldn't hide behind Rasheeda's loyalty or Jasmine's silence. He was exposed. For the first time, everyone saw him as the common denominator, the man who started this whole mess. The man who brought Canon into this world through betrayal. The man who made two women battle for dominance while he flip-flopped between them like a clueless politician. To Jasmine, he played the protective father. He said all the right things. I'm sorry. I should have never left Canon alone with her. I messed up. But Jasmine wasn't falling for it this time. According to a close friend of hers who spilled everything to the blogs, Jasmine looked Kirk dead in the eye and said, "You let your queen slap my son. Now watch me take your crown and your coins." Someone give that woman a peach and her own spin-off. And to Rasheeda, Kirk tried his usual gaslighting tricks. "You were stressed, babe. You didn't mean it. You're a great stepmom. This is all Jasmine trying to destroy us." But Rasheeda wasn't hearing it. Her image was burning, her money was bleeding, and her marriage was dangling by a thread thinner than her last lace front. For once, she wasn't in the mood to play Kirk's savior. Then came the legal bombshell. Jasmine's lawyer filed an emergency court motion. It wasn't just a custody request. It included a temporary restraining order, a formal child abuse claim against Rasheeda, and a request for a forensic evaluation of Canon's emotional well-being. The judge granted a hearing date immediately. And just like that, Rasheeda was looking at potential misdemeanor child cruelty charges. Now, her lawyer was fighting hard, arguing it was a moment of emotional breakdown, not abuse. That she didn't leave a mark. That she had no history of violence. But that video was damning. You could see the fury in her face. You could hear the smack. You could feel the tension in every second. Kirk, that man was a ghost. Skipping production meetings, dodging calls from producers. Sleeping between two houses, literally. One night at Jasmine's, the next at Rasheeda's, playing therapist and traitor in equal parts. One insider said, Kirk's living in his car half the week. The only thing he's consistent about is being inconsistent. Meanwhile, young Jock kept milking the drama like he was gunning for a bonus. He did club gigs where he'd grab the mic and say, "At least my girl didn't slap a baby on camera." Crowds laughed. Kendra rolled her eyes. VH1 probably rolled their contracts back. Even Kendra, who usually plays neutral, couldn't help herself. She posted a shady story that said, "Ladies, keep your hands to yourself. These babies didn't ask for your mess." Everybody knew who that was for, and if you thought Miss Charlene, the woman who's never backed down from a fight, was going to stay quiet, oh baby. Reports say she was on the phone with Kirk, yelling loud enough to break Bluetooth. "You should have kept that boy at Jasmine's. Don't you ever let someone touch my grandson like that again." Apparently, she's threatening to show up at the custody hearing and drag Jasmine and Kirk. Miss Charlene versus Jasmine in court. That's not a trial. That's a pay-per-view event. But through all this chaos, one question kept hanging in the air like smoke after a fire. Will Rasheeda finally leave Kirk? She's said it before, over and over. Every time he cheated. Every time he lied. Every time another woman popped up, she'd say, "This is the last straw." And then she'd be right back with him. But this wasn't a side chick. This wasn't another baby. This was her reputation. Her business. Her freedom. Her brand. Friend close to Rasheeda say, "She's been telling people privately, I'm done. I can't save him. I can't save us." But even her closest circle isn't sure if she means it. Because when you've built your entire brand around surviving chaos, what happens when peace requires walking away from the spotlight? And Jasmine, she's not letting up. The court date is locked. Her lawyers are already requesting temporary sole custody. They're asking for monitored visits. They want Rasheeda officially barred from having contact, and they're pressing the DA to consider charging her based on the video. If the charges stick, Rasheeda could be facing fines, probation, or worse, a mugshot. Meanwhile, Kirk's stuck in the middle, still trying to talk both women into calming down. But it's too late. The situation isn't just messy, it's radioactive. Everyone involved has something to lose. And Canon, the sweet little boy who just wanted a juice boxes in the middle of a war he never signed up for. But if you think it's over, you haven't been watching Love and Hip Hop long enough. because the producers are already cooking up a reunion. An exclusive sit-down. 1 room, 3 chairs, 1 slap. Millions of viewers, and word is everyone's negotiating terms. Jasmine wants full editorial control. Rasheeda wants an unedited redemption arc. Kirk just wants someone to say he's not the bad guy. Good luck with that, and while all this plays out, social media keeps spinning. Fan pages are dissecting every frame of the slap. Merch sellers on Etsy are already selling #slapgate t-shirts. Twitter has renamed Pressed Boutique to Press Charges. It's a mess. A disaster. A viral wildfire with no sign of slowing down. So where does that leave us? Rasheeda's in survival mode. Jasmine's in full control. Kirk's drowning. Canon's with his mother. And the Frost family wants reality TV. Royalty is 1 court hearing away from complete collapse. All because of 1 juice box. 1 slap. 1 moment that turned a marriage into a war zone. Only in Atlanta. And only on Love and Hip Hop. Stay tuned because this story, far from over.